So you're sitting at home watching YouTube looking for some videos to help with a sprained ankle. Well, I just sprained my ankle yesterday, and besides rest, ice, compression, elevation, which are working great, and some arnica oil, I've decided to add some color, beauty, and sound therapy. All you have to do is find something pretty in your house, colors that you're attracted to, wrap it around the wounded area, find an instrument, whether it be a recorder or drum or guitar. If you don't have an instrument, get a couple spoons, a couple sticks, something that makes sound, something maybe that you can vary the sound on. And the important thing is just try to get the vibration of the instrument as close to the injured area as possible, and the vibrations from the music will then draw more blood and more chi into the area and help it flush out just a little bit quicker. And you can do this at any point in therapy. I wouldn't touch the injured area too hard with any of if you're using like drumsticks or something, and don't use your actual foot as an instrument. Just play an instrument near it and try to get the vibration of the instrument as close to the injured area as possible. If it is your ankle and you're not able to stretch to reach this far, like I'm doing, then maybe you can get a friend to do this for you. Try to play as many varying pitches of your instrument as possible. And if you find a pitch that seems to resonate with your ankle, something about it resonates, you can just instinctively and intuitively, play that note maybe a little bit longer. Yeah, so I'm just going to play a little bit. You want to do that for, at least like 30 seconds or so, but as long as you want, as long as you feel comfortable, as long as it feels okay. And of course, if you have sprained your ankle and it's hurting and it's not healing, if you're worried at all, I would go see a doctor right away, urgent care, emergency room, your regular doctor if you can get in right away. Rest, ice, compression, elevation, and now you can add some beauty, color, and sound therapy to speed up the healing process, because what else you got to do when you're stuck at home with a sprained ankle when you'd rather be at work or out doing something fun?